Welcome. I'm going to give you a second to get your notification and then you can hop on. As always, I love to know where you are viewing from so you can tell me what little amazing part of the world you are hopping on. So it's cold right now, it's raining, and I'm hoping that I'm not actually getting any weird like sort of like a minute ago, I realized that my internet was making a weird noise and I realized it was picking up the rain from outside of my window. So hopefully it's not transferring over into some like weird raindroppy noise. Um, okay. So while people are hopping on, super funny today. I'm at work. I love the people that I work with, but we're having this conversation about things in my life that are important. And everyone was like, oh, we know that your number one is your truck. So you should probably, you know, make sure that people are aligned and know that. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. I'm like, this is the order of my things. So my truck is number one, followed by steak, almonds, cheese, and my kids. And I don't know, it caused quite a chuckle because people were like, you like cheese more than your children? Absolutely. The thing of it is, my truck never talks back to me. She's always there for me. She starts every morning. She never gives me any type of issue. Um, she stays clean relatively for the most part, right? Like the only thing that makes my truck messy is my kids in it. So I just don't let them in it. But then, steak and almonds and cheese, those things make me happy as well. And, they're just keto friendly and they never also talk back. So I have my priorities in order and people can think I'm shallow, but that's how it goes. Now we had a good laugh about it. Okay. Let me know where you're from, guys. What's the weather doing where you are? I'm in northern Utah. It's really cold. Here was another funny thing that got brought up in this work meeting is I have the cutest coworker. I just love her to death. And she was like talking about how she mailed us all something. And she's like, you realize that your address is super public, right? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't go online. Cincinnati is raining. Oh yeah, it's raining here too. I don't know what temperature it is, but it's pretty cold. Anyway, apparently my address is super public, so I was like, cool. Maybe I should announce that. Feel free to send me some gifts. Felicia's in California. Rain this morning, but it's sunny now. Awesome. Glad you have some sunshine. We need some sunshine. This time of the year, I can handle this weather because I know that it's going to go away soon. I was working with a client earlier today. Amber, cold and raining in Indiana. Must be kind of all over the place. I was working with my client who was in Hawaii earlier. Yeah, right. Angie, that's what I thought. We're supposed to get snow, right? And it's like 38 degrees right now. So Angie actually lives down the road. Um, but when I was talking to my client about this, who's in Hawaii, I told her it's really not uncommon for us to get a really weird little crazy like end of spring snowstorm right now. Idaho and snowing, and I'm over it. I hear you. Keep your snow there, though. Don't send it down here. Oh, I can't see. Hold on. It's Jacksonville, Florida, 79. Lucky you. Joyce is in Alabama, and it's warm. Jealous. I like to say jelly. I'm jelly. Okay. So if it does snow, I just wrap my little mind around the fact that it'll melt quick. If it snows this time of the year, it's usually gone. So, right. It happens. It's almost Easter and it just happens. It's just, and I'll come back and say, like, why did my ancestors decide to settle here? But then I left for 8 years and came back. So I don't know. I can't really Panama City, Florida. Man, we got some Florida everywhere. Cincinnati, Ohio, Indiana, California. We got everybody here from all over. Okay, so let's dive into the deliciousness of what we're going to talk about. Hi, Jan. Oh, you're such a sweetie. Hello, beautiful friend. Okay, this one hits home for me. So everything hits home for me, but I'm going to probably get pretty passionate about it because been on the other side of this and it can be very just a deep, sad place to be. So If you guys are new and you're just joining me really quick, my name is Amy Jorgensen, and I've had some things happen in my life, and I've chosen to use those things that have happened to, create some purpose out of my life and to use my trauma so that I can help other people. So I love doing that. I have lots of trainings that I do. I own the Soul Centered Academy. I founded the ELV energy process where you can actually release things from your subconscious mind, but I won't go into lots of depth with that, but you can find my website. It's blockedemotions.com. I also do one-on-one sessions, but I love to just give back. So that's why I do these. I call them Monday Soul Deliciousness. And I try to really get into a topic that can really help you no matter what your spot you are in your life. So tonight is titled I Feel Broken, and I'm going to tell you why. So I remember and sitting in a room. This was at a church, so organized religious function, and has nothing to do with it. I'm just giving you the background of where I was. See, this could happen anywhere. You could be in a room full of a bunch of people at a school event. You could be in a room full of a bunch of people at work. You could be anywhere. Room full of family members, okay? But I just remember sitting in this room, and the person was giving a lesson. It was a great lesson, all about I don't know what, but all I can remember is that I was sitting there and I just couldn't stop thinking about what I was going through. And it was just eating me alive. And all I could think about was, man, and this was a room with was only had women in it. And I just kept thinking, I bet nobody else in this room is dealing with what I'm dealing with. And here I was supposed to be getting like this beautiful, uplifting spiritual experience from whatever this person was talking about. But I couldn't get my brain out of this space of just feeling so alone and so overwhelmed and thinking to myself, if I shared this with anyone in this room, I would feel so shamed and so shunned. And that was a really big eye-opening moment for me because I realized that, like, wow, why do we not talk about stuff? Why am I feeling so isolated and so alone with what I'm going through? And as I wrote this down to talk about it tonight, I was like, dang, that is exactly it, right? So I'm going to read it because I don't want to mess it up. Okay. So we live in a society, we live in a culture where we feel like we are shamed if we air our dirty laundry, when we should be helping each other wash it and fold it and put it away. Right? I don't want to talk about what's happened to me or what I'm going through or what I'm dealing with my kids, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't fit my white picket fence scenario that I was taught as a little girl. That is what I wanted when I grew up, right? I'm going to go to school and I'm going to graduate, and then I'm going to get married, and I'm going to get a cute little house, and I'm going to have some puppies, and then I'm going to have some kids, and I'm going to do all this, and maybe I'm going to work. And anyways, my kids are going to go to school, and they're going to grow up, and they're going to be so nice to me, and they're going to be lovable. And guess what? None of that happened for me. I don't have a white picket fence or any dogs right now. I don't know half the time if my kids like me. I like to pretend that they do, but I really don't know if they do. I like to tell myself that they do and that they're just, harassing me out of love. Here I am, like if I look at it on a piece of paper, it looks like a hot mess express. I mean, all over the place. I'll just tell you because I don't care. And if it helps you feel better about yourself, then I'll totally tell you. I never want anybody to watch me and be like, man, this lady has it all together. Yo, I don't have it all together. I just wake up every morning and I try to put it together so that I can create happiness for myself. But do I feel like I can look back at my life and be like, wow, I did all that right? Oh, hell no. Not at all. Okay. I got married when I was in high school over my Thanksgiving break the first time. You know why? Because I had a very, very emotionally damaging dad, and I was running away. I was running away from my home life. I met a guy that was older than me. He was financially stable. Woo, right? It looked like an amazing fantasy. Here I am in school with all of my friends, and I have this giant wedding ring and yada, yada, right? Fall into this fantasy land. And, really, he was my best friend for years. We were married for 16 years. And then just due to his family chipping away at his mental health, he became very depressed. His dad did some horrible things to him, taking away his family business. And there just wasn't anything I could do. And he just got into a really bad space when I got out of the military. And he ended up taking his own life. But even looking before that, I didn't do things the way that I thought that I would do them. I got married in high school. I went to college for like a semester. And then I dropped out and I had to withdraw from all my classes because I was failing all of them. And I mean, I just look at it. I don't know. By the time I was like 25, I probably had like 16 jobs, right? That's not something I wrote down on paper. I mean, I looked like I couldn't work. I just wasn't happy doing anything. I went to school to be a teacher. Then I changed my major to being a pilot. And then everyone was like, that's crazy. And then I finally got it all together and I left and went to the military. But guess what happened while I was there? I hated it. Do you know what it's like when people are like, oh, you fly airplanes? That's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, I hate it. Nobody hates flying airplanes. So do you think that I want to walk around telling everybody that I hate flying airplanes? No, because people are like, oh, that's my dream. It is your dream because it looks really cool. Guess what? It's not as cool as it looks unless that is your passion. And it wasn't my passion. So then I continue to do things that I feel like are the right things to do. But guess what? They're not aligned with who I am at all. I'm doing stuff because I have this really driven personality. And when it really comes down to it, I'm trying to make my dad proud with every single thing that I'm doing. And guess what? He never was. I remember being with my dad at his work, and he had a friend there. And this was after I was in the military. I think I was visiting. And I remember him introducing me to his friend, and he was like, oh, this is my daughter, Amy. She flies planes in the Air Force. And then guess what he adds? Oh, she doesn't fly the cool ones. She doesn't fly the cool ones with the missiles and the bombs. She flies some like really big airplane that like has fuel on it that refuels other airplanes. And I was like, wow. Right? And deep inside, I'm like, what have you done? Like, have you done that before? No. But yet, it just took me to this like little tiny shriveled up person that just doesn't have any confidence. And so I continue to do things that are not aligned with who I am. I end up getting out of the military due to some family issues. And then I decide that I'm going to go into law enforcement. That's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I wanted to do at all. But once again, it's like this A-type personality. And, I get to be super cool because now I'm going to have a uniform on again and yada, yada. And I wasn't aligned with that. And then Shane ended up really succumbing to depression. And, that's not a good career path for someone to be in when that happens. I made some really poor choices in the meantime, just from being so far disconnected from who I really was. I was just doing some stupid stuff. Yeah. So I remember sitting in that room about this time, like, wow, I've really screwed up my life. And there I was, widowed, trying to raise my kids. I was the gossip talk of the town. And I was just like, wow, nobody here understands me in this place that I'm supposed to be able to be, where Christ is the center and I'm supposed to feel like I can be forgiven for everything I've ever done. I wanted to kill myself. And that's just the ugliness of it. And there was moments where I was like, I just want to be done, but I couldn't do that to my kids. Like, they had already had that happen. And if you are in that space, I will tell you right now, please find something to hold on to, because no matter what you think, or no matter how big of a burden you feel like you are to the people around you, you're not. You're not the burden that you feel like you are. But I know you get into that space because that's how I felt, Whereas like, I've screwed up so much. I've screwed up everybody's lives. I was blaming myself for my spouse taking his life. I was blaming myself for my kids not being able to be in school anymore because people in school were talking about them, and it was just a mess. So I'm going to say that again. Don't be the person that enforces the culture where people who are airing their dirty laundry feel shame. Help them wash their clothes. Help them wash their laundry. Help them fold their laundry. Help them put it away. That is the freaking reason that you are here. It is not to be in a career. It is not to make money. It is not to have a happy family. Your purpose here is to learn to love yourself so that you can help other people. That is your purpose. Of course, all those other things fall into play. Okay. Here's the other thing that I really wanted to tell you, because sometimes when I'm talking to people about, oh, I've been through this trauma. Sure. If you pull out all the other stuff, you know, my husband took his life and my daughter passed away. Cool. I have some trauma, so I can resonate with other people. But sometimes I'll have people say, yeah, but Amy, your traumas are not self-inflicted. Yes, there are plenty of things that I have done that are not the bestest decisions that are self-inflicted pain. So I don't want you to ever compare your trauma to anybody else. Don't ever look at it and say, well, this happened to you, and this happened to me, and this, whatever. That's not what it's about. It's not. Nobody's trauma is bigger, better. Your trauma is your own, because just like your fingerprint, that's what you need to get to the place that you need to be going. So if somebody says to me, well, you know, I got myself into this situation. I'm the one that started getting into addictive behaviors. So that's not the same as you having your daughter die. Like, what you went through wasn't your fault, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You guys, sometimes the things that you do that are self-inflicted pain are the ones with the most lessons for you to learn. You're not a failure. This is a step towards a vector in a direction that you need. Making a decision that is not the best decision is not a fail. It is a learning experience. So, sure, if I look at all the things that have happened to me, I can tell you 100%. Guess what? The things that I did that were self-inflicted, stupid things that, you know, I don't even like to label them as those, but just, you know, so you're understanding. If I take a moment and actually forgive myself for those and I see, wow, I am where I am right now because I made that decision. In the moment, was it not maybe the best decision? Did it cause me a lot of pain? Absolutely. But I have a choice. I can beat myself up over it. I can just beat myself down. I can live in this space where I feel regret and I feel all the feels every day. Like, I know that feeling of when you wake up in the middle of the night with just that pit in your stomach and you're just like, I can't do this anymore because I can't carry this burden. Like, I can't believe that I did this to myself. I can't believe I did this, blah, blah, whatever it is, right? I mean, this mistake, this decision. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Look at it from, how can I do this differently? How can I make this better? You are the only thing stopping yourself. You are the only one creating that boundary, creating that barrier. So don't compare your trauma to other people. Even if it's self-inflicted, there's a lesson that you can learn. In fact, like I said, it could be even a bigger lesson to learn than something else. So, okay, what did I learn from this? How can I take this thing that I've been through and give it some purpose? How can I give it some purpose? That's it. Feel all the feels. Jan, you can't feel guilty for everything. Sit with yourself. Ask yourself, why do I feel guilty for this? I have been in that space too, where I look around and I'm like, what? You know why I feel guilty? Is because I'm allowing myself to take on responsibility for things that are other people's decisions. It is not my responsibility to, you know, I'm just going to tell you right now. Example right now. Okay. So a thing going on in my life where I'm watching self-sabotage happening right in front of my very little eyes. And initially I catch myself being like, whoa, I see this self-sabotage of this other person. And what do I want to do? Jan, like you, I feel guilt. Do you know why I feel guilt? Because I know that I can stop that person from self-sabotaging if I put myself second and put them first. That's a really hard thing to wrap your mind around. Because I know that if I just were to put them first, the self-sabotaging would stop. But because I'm putting myself first and putting them second, but guess what? It's not my responsibility. I'm responsible for myself. To some degree, I'm not even responsible for the decisions that my kids make, which that one's really hard as a parent. You sometimes have to sit back and be like, this is their free agency. They get to decide. Sure, you do your best that you can to lead them down the right path, to give them the information, to give them the resources, to give them the background, to give them everything that they need. But when it comes down to it, ultimately only they can make the decision. And that's really difficult. So we have it really ingrained within ourselves that we're watching all this happen and we feel that guilt, like we're responsible for this. If I wouldn't have done that, then yada, yada, yada. No, even in those moments where you're like, well, if I wouldn't have done that, really, other people usually, in most instances, still have some ability to make their own decisions. So, I'm going to tell you, unless you're like, holding a weapon to their head, then probably you're really not all that responsible for what they're doing. Okay. Ooh, it is raining, snowing. It is snowing. Fantastic. All right. I might just go make myself some s'mores, light a little campfire. Just kidding. I don't have the ability to light a campfire. I don't know. Cuddle in a blanket with myself. That's what I'm doing. All right, you guys. I hope you have an amazing night. Thanks for joining me. And I'll see you next week. Same time, same place.